Okay, I think I can start. Welcome everyone, and thank you, Faris, for attending my webinar for the first time. So it's been a long time since we have actually met virtually or even face to face. Good, Alfred, how are you doing? All good? Okay, good day, everyone. Mr. Kunan. Okay, I think we can start. That's good. Okay, so meet Faris as well. Faris is from the Far East in Malaysia. He's a Malaysian, has been a student before, as well as, he's attended the seminar as well, like you guys, and we've met, and that's been years and years ago as well. So that's good. Good to have him join us as well today, and all of you. Thank you. And today is the Wednesdays Bretton midweek review, and we have these webinars every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So Wednesdays is just excuse me, a very brief look through into the market, but most importantly, looking at traders at the traders end, what have they actually been doing with their trading, any troubleshooting needed, and various other things. Give me a second. Mind me, I'm still having this throaty, tickly cough thing going on still. It's quite hot here. We are reaching 30+ degrees in Cyprus, but it's just started to cool down yesterday. So we're getting into the darkness mode a little bit, getting darker earlier as well. So with regards to the weather in the Forex market, there's a lot has actually been going on. So I've done a lot of research with a friend of mine as well for various market, but a friend of mine is actually a gun specialist as well. So I will introduce him to the webinar starting Friday so that he can actually help quite a number of, different strategies as well that he can actually introduce, but he specializes in the gun emblem, the astrological cycle of instruments. So he advises hedge fund companies, really big, and he is living here in Cyprus, but he is British, Indian or Punjabi, British, and basically he would be very happy to actually help you guys as well and provide some insights into various instruments, especially gold, maybe some other instruments as well. But he specializes in all FX and gold and silver and various other things. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at what's been going on. But before we look into the chart, as usual, I prefer to look into some sites like Daily FX, various other sites, just to have a sneak preview on the news side of it. And also after that, I usually go on to Action Forex to look at top 10 movers, for example, just to get a bit of an idea. They're not, very high probability tools, but they do provide some sort of guidance, and usually it's not standalone tools as well. So you've got to mix it up together with the news that's been going on as well. So I just want to look at usually on the news perspective, I do look into Market Watch as well, even Daily FX. But I like the Daily FX news section mainly because of their very huge team in the research side of it, and I like the way they lay out excuse me, in priority the level of importance on news. Give me a second. Okay, so like here, for example, in Daily FX, we can see that we have got some focus. Usually the big focus is in this imagery type format, and they're talking about crude oil, and then followed by AUD USD gains because of the GDP, solid figures on GDP. So basically AUD pairs are starting to, AUD crosses are starting to do that reversal because of their lockdown, big lockdown in Australia and a lot of things. But now it started to have reversal levels as well that are mentioned fundamentally through news, but also when we look into the charts, there are some levels that we need to sort of be aware of in looking at support levels. Okay. Okay, so with that, we can also look into oil, but oil, we want to cover that more on Sundays, or maybe we will arrange with Mr. Kunan as well to look at a specific time and day to actually dig deep into commodities in general, including crude oil, including Brent and WTI. So as we can actually see, we have got news on Australian dollar right here. And then it's talked about solid GDP figures right here, and it's put that article into a question mode whether it would actually go higher or not. So we then will look into it and use our own analysis in looking at the AUD USD, because there are some focus onto AUD USD. I probably the top pattern would also be good to actually focus on AUD USD crosses as well, AUD crosses, and then we want to look at the tools in Action Forex to guide us a little bit better in picking the right pair to trade for the day. So Dow Jones here, it talks about the solid month on Australian 200. And then they also talk about technically a rising wage pattern. Sometimes I like to compare what they have found with my style of trading as well. So here we still have got Australian dollar forecast right here. So we can actually see that there's quite a number of focus in terms of news as well. I've checked the others as well. So we've got Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar focus, Canadian dollar focus as well. So I see that the commodity currency or COMDOLs would actually be focused quite a bit in within this week, from the midweek at the moment until Friday. So with that, let's go on to Action Forex. And I like looking at the top movers just to give me a bit of an idea on the focus. Now, on this 10 top 10 right here, I usually look at these columns with 4 dots. 4 dots means it's giving more clarity on the trend if it's got a dot in each column from 4-hour right up to the monthly chart. So here, as we can see, it's sort of complying with whatever that is going with the focus on the news side of it, meaning that even if we click onto the daily or the 4-hour or the weekly, it doesn't really matter. I usually just click onto the daily, but what's important is whether or not we have got pairs that has got 4 dots in here, because the clarity of trend would actually be more important than which one is listed at the beginning. So here, for example, as we can see from number 1 to number 10, we have got more focus on AUD crosses. So the first two itself, as you can see, is AUD versus CHF and JPY. Now here as well, we can actually look at how the AUD is paired with both safe havens like CHF and JPY. And it looks like it's selling on the CHF and JPY side of it. And we can actually see that these three, for example, CHF is a safe haven for Swiss franc. And we can see that the pairs are on the buy for the base currency. So that means it's a sell for all the CHFs that we can actually find on the table. So that does actually mean that it could possibly be more a risk-on environment at this moment. So we're talking about sentiments in the market. So sentiments in the market, if it's risk-on, they would probably be benefiting more on the buy side of various asset classes. So that means people are getting a little bit more confident in buying, and there are various reasons for them to actually increase their lot sizes, buying and expecting perhaps either short, medium, or long-term gains. So this is more of a sentiment or behavior of a risk-on type environment or sentiment. So this is basically what I can actually see as well. And then We're looking at Australian dollar dominating as well here versus the euro versus the GBP as well. And we've got only one CAD right there, also a commodity currency. But let's focus on AUD crosses itself, because it does actually look like it's having a good, 4 dots right there. We've got 3 at the moment. NZD as well, as we know, NZD follows through quite a lot on AUD. So all the NZD crosses, AUD crosses could possibly be on a high positive correlation as well. So this is basically it. So what we usually do in sessions, in these webinar session, is firstly to understand market sentiments, of course, a very general market review, market analysis first, and then trend analysis. So that basically means, we want to look at pairs in general. We want to look at the direction of trend first, how strong the trend are for which pair, which currencies first, and which pairs. Then we are able to actually pick the right pair following a strong base of trend, and then do the analysis on the technical. Because sometimes if this part of it is being missed out, then we might end up choosing a pair that has got, number one, not clear trend, number two, volatility level is not really that high, as well as a liquidity level. So then that might actually blur out our analysis on the technical side of it as well. So because volatility is the lifeblood of the Forex market especially, so it does rely heavily, or depend heavily on both high liquidity and high volatility as well. So it's a two-sided coin basically. You've got risk and opportunity when it comes to volatility as well. So that's why we want to actually take a look at it from this perspective first before we jump into the technical side of it. So usually it's out of the charts, looking at what's going on out of the charts, and then to pick the right pair for the day to actually trade, and then to go into the technical side of it. So here as well, I like using some tools on Action Forex, and one of it is the currency heat map. The one earlier on is top movers. So here, most of the ones who have attended the webinars for long, they're very familiar already, but I'm just repeating it for the ones who are new to the tools, like Faris, for example. So here with Action Forex, I've been using this. I think maybe Faris as well would know that I've mentioned this tool, but it's not, the best tools, I would say, but it provides some guidance, but I'm not really that dependent on each tool, because we are doing a lot of follow-up and our own analysis. So it sort of filters it down and streamline the accuracy side of it later on. So here, for example, we want to just look at, rough idea what we can actually get, whether or not we have got columns that are dark red and dark blue. This is the most important thing. So dark red, strongly bearish, dark blue, strongly bullish. So here, for example, like euro versus AUD, or AUD versus euro, we can see that euro is strongly bearish against AUD. So here we can actually sort of confirm that there may be some possibility of reversal of the AUD, of Australian dollar as well, picking up to the upside. So here, as we can see, if we look at AUD specifically, it's giving us a good view on a rough trend. So here, for example, AUD versus GBP, or GBP AUD, would probably be strongly bearish. So AUD is really strongly bullish against the GBP. Now, whether or not it is for sure it is picking up as of now, that we have to decide as a trader. Once we go onto the technical side of it, we apply the 3 EMAs, we look into the trend from one time frame after another, and then we look at all the areas that we can actually look at. So I prefer usually to pick out pairs that are potentially strong in the perspective of trend first. So like this one here, so GBP AUD would probably be a good pair for me to actually pick, as well, giving me a very strong bearish type. I would expect it to give me bearishness, but I would do that trend analysis myself to apply the strategies there. So I will actually continue to go into it deeper. So we can actually pick GBP AUD as a sample, and then I will guide you through on how we can actually spot trading opportunities, but most importantly, to look at the risk level as well, and what's going on at this moment of time and how strong is the trend. So here, for example, if it's GBP AUD, we can actually do that right away. And let's pick one of it here. So GBP AUD, just to look at whether or not we have got any trading opportunities. But before that, we need to do a trend analysis first, because we've picked out a pair that presumably is quite solid in the trend. So it's quite, I would say, bearish or strongly bearish, as we have seen on GBP. So GBP is expected to the downside. As we can see, it's on the 4-hour chart. We have got it giving us lower highs as well as lower lows. As you can see, current candles as well is on the downside. And what I like to do as well is always to look left and right. So I look right for the current price and to compare the current price with psychological numbers as well, and then to look at to the left following the current price on anything that I can actually expect. So for example, if I look at the price itself at this moment of time, let's say on a 4-hour chart, I see that we have got prices at 1.8756 area, right? So what I can actually see is straight away, it is actually trading at very close to the 50 psychological number, because it is at 1.8755. So what does that actually mean to me is that I may be experiencing a reversal soon. That could actually be it. Psychological numbers would actually hint a reversal. So I would mark the area of 8750 first, and we do that, a reversal to the upside, basically, because the trend is expected or thought to be bearish and strongly bearish as well for GBP versus the AUD. So I will mark that price at 8750. Now that is just to give me that guidance that the 8750 psychological number is there. Now that is where it also showed a sort of a wick to the downside for the current candle, which basically means if there's a wick to the downside, that means it is hinting us weakness to go down further. All right, so we have got the exhaustion of bears to go down further. Now that does actually then confirm the 8750 as the potential reversal level as well, because it's a psychological level. So also when we take that into consideration and look to the left, we have got a giant bullish mother candle right here that basically gives us a hint that a bullish zone would actually be coming up very soon, and that could be reflected by the whole body of this candle itself. So what I will do is I will just measure that body of the candle and use the rectangle property right here or tool to actually color it blue to hint us that this is a bullish zone. So once it actually does have a correction in place, doing that reversal, it would then follow through the price increment based on this bullish candle itself. Okay, so this is basically what I can actually see that is most likely to happen. But if at all we are thinking of a buy price, if you want to follow the correction and you want to trade the reversal, then the ideal buying price would actually be at 10 pips above 8750 psychological number. So 1.8760 would probably be a better place to buy. Okay, so here the limit of the box itself or the closing price of that mother candle is at 88.58. So 88.58. Now, what we can actually do is to exit before 88.50 by 10 pips or so. So your take profit Usually entries and exit, you can actually use the psychological number, tweak the price based on psychological numbers for entries and exits only, not for stop losses. Has got a different style or ways that I usually do. So 88.58, for example, if it is 88.50, 88.50 minus 10 would be 88.40. So I would suggest the exit price for this, if you are considering a buying at 87.60, then you would probably be best to exit at 88.40. Okay, so oops, wrong button right there. Give me a second. Okay, so 88.40. There we go. Now we've got 88.40 right there. So let's say we are going to be buying at 87.60, whether it's a pending order or you want to wait or you want to enter now, not wait or to actually enter at 87.60. It's entirely up to yourself, and I'll change that to perhaps yellow to mark that entry area. So there you go. So it's really close to that area right now. And this is, let's say, a buy order, giving you a little bit under 80 pips in terms of potential for that. So this is a bit of a potential, but it is a reversal type, what do you call that, trade at this moment of time. But overall, me as a conservative trader, I would only ride the downtrend. So I would only look at more downtrend to actually ride that downtrend, because at this moment of time, yes, it's showing in all the tools, most of the tools and all that we have got downward bias right here. So we've got a lot of ABCDs going down as well. In the 1 hour chart, we've got a nice flow of the 3 EMA lines coming downwards, signifying a good flow of downward movement, and that also is represented by majority of the candles under all the 3 lines. So because it's under all the 3 lines, when you compare your 1 hour, you want to work on a nice flow from 1 hour, you compare it to 4 hour, 4 hour, you compare the daily, so on and so forth. If you do that, then you get a better story. So what would the story be from 1 hour to 4 hour is that 1 hour is looking really good, but then 4 hour, it might actually be not really clear anymore. So that does actually also hint us of a correction. So this is the reason why we have got touching lines as well amongst the 3 EMAs, and that was reflected by how the price was at psychological number one, and then it's also very close to a support level right here as well. So hence the reason we have got that bullish zone right there to give us a clue that maybe at this moment of time, there may be a reversal that is due for GBP AUD. But for me personally, as a trader, I would only want to ride the downward movement. So here, for example, if I were to go onto the daily chart right here, I don't really see any recent previous movement of price giving me any downward type movement. So I might not go into any selling type until prices breaks down more, and then I see a lot of fundamentals that are weakening. But at this moment of time, it looks like trend wise, the Australian dollar is picking up quite well. So that so the GBP is actually on the weak side because of Australian dollars picking up. So I see that maybe good potential for selling GBP AUD, but we don't know that as yet. At this moment of time, if I go into the daily chart and all that, I see that the tools are really weak for the GBP, really strong for the AUD, but I don't see the opportunity of selling. I see the opportunity of a reversal first. Whether or not I will, there will be a good selling opportunity later on or not, we don't know that yet. At this moment of time, the market looks like it wants to reverse first more than wanting to do anything. That means to bounce up. to the upside for GBP. So here, if we go on to 1 hour again, we look at the current candle. You can actually see even on the 1 hour chart, there's a pin bar candle right there. And this one here has got a very nice small body with a very long wick to the downside. So it is giving us a hint of a weakness to the downside on the 1 hour chart. So that's quite clear. And trend wise, still maintains to the downside. We've got majority of candles under the 3 EMAs, but we are seeing the wick again on the 4 hour chart, signaling that there may be a potential to go to the upside. Okay, so then here a daily chart is overall to the upside. If you compare your daily chart with the weekly chart, it is hinting us of more movement to the upside for the medium to longer term. Okay, so this reversal right here of the downtrend for the shorter term may actually turn into a upward type movement to actually push GBP more to the upside. So there may be news coming, but we don't know that yet. That may be very positive in the market for GBP and GBP crosses. Okay, so this is roughly what we can actually see for GBP AUD. All right, so this is what we can write along. If at all I've got more and more catalysts in the market, let's say more news and everything to help change the direction to make it more solid to the upside, then yes, I would also go into the buy on that. But be careful with the 88.50 area as your exit. So maybe you want to take that 70 pips or so as your profit first, and then you plan further later on. Okay, but as of now, this is basically what could potentially happen. I want to go back to the 4 hour chart and guide you guys through in using the stochastic very simply to actually look at whether or not we have got the potential of a reversal again. So sometimes, you know, most of the time I don't really use the indicators, but you can always put an indicator or two to further enhance your analysis basically, or further confirm it if at all the indicators are working, you know, well and right. For me, I just use the stochastic here with no change on the default, and then you click OK. But I don't use the overbought, oversold, anything like that, just divergence and convergence. What that actually means is that I just want to see whether or not whatever that is reflected onto the higher highs or higher lows, lower high, lower lows, the peaks basically on the candlesticks, does it actually reflect, does it have a match or mismatching with the indicator, the stochastic indicator right here? If there is a mismatch, that basically means it's divergence, and divergence usually means a mismatch that would actually hint us of a reversal. So how we do that is quite simple. As you can see, you have got the peak. Let's say this peak right here, and you've got this peak right here, right? So this peak sort of reflects this area right here, okay? And then you have got this one here reflected by that one there. So if I were to draw just that high to that high, this is a slope downwards, right? And then from this area right here to the same area, it's a slope upwards. So that means there is a reversal coming up, and that is called divergence, as simple as that. Now, it's not 100%, of course, it's just a bit of a guidance. But as you can see, if we are using more price action and studying the candles and all that a little bit more, it's actually more than sufficient. But sometimes, you know, traders that just want a little bit more of confidence through confirmation, and that basically is when you apply one or two more indicators just to you know, polish it up a little bit. So here, for example, we have got you know, very clear indication of prices being exhausted as well from the candles right here. We have had dominance of more bearish candles, as you can see, but then now it's exhausted right here. This is GBP AUD. So as you can see, we want to always do a trend analysis first, and then mark all the risk levels based on psychological numbers, and then draw your patterns accordingly only towards the end, not at the beginning, mainly because we want all the base covered first on price action, levels, and mother candles to the left, and various other things. Now, if I were to go onto the daily chart right here, and we see that we have got, of course, mother candles here, right? So that mother candle, body of the mother candle itself, does actually give us the hint that there is definitely power of buying. Once it decided to actually go up, it's been supported by this area, this body of this bullish mother candle right here. All right. And also when the price were to turn around and come back down, it's at the end of this price right here. Hence the reason we want to use the mother candle as a guidance. Let's say that mother candle right there gives us the strength and power of the buy in that zone, right? And then we want to mark areas. But once we've marked the areas of where we can actually buy, we need to further tweak the prices based on psychological numbers, just to keep us a little bit safe, especially for entries and exit. Hence the reason I've given the price 87.60, which is 10 pips above 87.50 psychological number, and then you want to exit before price hits 88.50, which is the psychological level again. So hence the reason that these prices have actually been tweaked as such. Now, on the pattern side of it, sometimes there is no need for a pattern to actually be drawn, or maybe it's just not clear for a pattern. Hence the reason I prefer to have the pattern drawing to actually come to the end. And if we have pattern drawings, let's say because it is more a reversal stage at this moment of time, and we don't have a nice pattern that shows that reversal to go up, and that's why we are not drawing any pattern for the reversal. But for previous movement of price to go downwards, for example, there are various ABCD that has actually happened. So we have got one right here, for example, let's say from this top right here, all the way down right here, and we've got the A to B there, and then you're taking the C point right there, and that did reflect this end of it. So we had an A, B, C, D that basically ended as well. So at that time when we were analyzing the market to write the trend to the downside, or write that ABCD bearish, then we would have drawn that pattern at the end as well, because there is that pattern that existed at that time, or the formation of that pattern. But at this moment of time, we are trading GBP AUD more on price action based on support resistance as well. I don't follow the old school style of lines at all so much, mainly on the powerful body of the candle, the size of the body of the candle on bigger time frame, and then we go on to smaller time frame to trade it as well. So that would that has actually proven to be more effective, especially for traders that they want to ride trends at that moment of time. So the overall trend perhaps is uptrend for GBP AUD on the higher time frames, but then we've got more traders that are active, intraday traders, scalpers, and short-term traders. So we want to cater it to them. So hence the reason we want to also use mother candles as our guide, because they are quite standard in any time frame. We have got mother candles, but of course the size in terms of number of pips would actually differ a lot. But that is actually one of the new school or new way of actually trading support resistance, is through the mother candle. Instead of the wick and all that, is the opening price, if it's an upward candle, opening price and closing price as your support and resistance, and it's vice versa for the bearish mother candle. Okay, so there you go. This is just a little bit of tip as we go on. We talk about the market. We also revise on certain things that has been shared, but most importantly, to look at your current trades and see whether or not we can actually help you out with your current trade. So any questions at your end, guys, on pairs that you are watching at the moment, especially Forex pairs, gold, silver as well, of course, but yeah, Forex pairs in particular. If you have anything that you want to look at, and then we can actually go over it together and see whether or not we can spot any trading opportunities. GBP USD. Okay, Alfred, thank you. GBP USD, yes, I've looked at it last night as well. And I think it maintains that very strong bearishness type pattern here. But of course, with looking at it, picking up and things like that. So it has got a little bit of a area that we want. But what we can actually do always is clear the closet, right? So we can clear all this analysis that has been there lying about for a long time. We can clear that and look at what's going on at this moment of time for GBP versus the USD from a technical standpoint first, right? So here, for example, very easy. Firstly, you want to look to the right on the price. The price itself is at 1.3751, which basically means 1 or 2 pips away from the psychological level. Now, in terms of trend, how is it trading at this moment of time is very clear. It's sideways on the 4-hour chart, right? So you've got it a bit on a sideways. It's not really very, very clear. If I look to the left as well, the current price may be respecting an area that would actually be a reversal as well. So here we've got support levels right here, which have actually pushed prices up. So I don't really need to go too far back, but if I go to far back as well, I can see that there's confirmation that the level that price is at now is actually at a strong type level for bulls to enter, for buyers. Okay, so there may be a price push to the upside, but it's got several challenges on the 4-hour chart because you have got all these lines as well. So this is a sideways line. 3 lines are moving sideways, and you've got current candles moving inside the 3 lines. What that means is that not clear trend. Trend is not clear at this moment of time. So not the movement of a single candle. Movement of single candle going up doesn't mean it's going up, but overall trend is sideways at this moment of time, and it is actually very unclear on the trend. So if I go, let's say lower a little bit, 30 minutes chart, let's look at what has actually happened. Now it has, gone down, depreciated in price, started to make that corrective move to the upside, got entangled in that area. So the uptrend is not very clear, right? So it has gone up, being pushed in the shortest term by buyers trying to pull or push the price upwards for GBP versus the dollar. But then it's got that wick there and showing a lot of weakness to the upside, right? And then you compare that to the 1 hour, it became the same. And then if you compare that to 4-hour chart, you can see that it has moved lower as well, all these candles. So there is a very big possibility of more downward bias for GBP at this moment of time compared to the USD. If we could do that on the daily chart, you can see it moved even lower as well. There may be a little bit of correction that may happen, but at this moment of time, very, very unpredictable. For GBP USD, in my opinion, it's like putting your finger in a spinning washing machine at this moment of time, because if we participate in a trade at this moment, we might actually be very confused, and your trade results will actually be very confused as well. Because whether or not you need to close it, it's going into negative and then it's going to positive because of the sideways type movement as well. I don't really see a very clear type movement that it wants to make, because we are still at this moment of time, if it's 4-hour chart, we've got a little bit of a bearish zone that the current price is trading in. And this one here, for example, if I make that box based on the body of that mother candle, bearish mother candle there, this would actually be a bearish zone or selling type zone, or bias to the bears, but still it is in a sideways type movement, just bobbing, in that box itself, up and down, and not really very clear. But the good thing is that it has been trapped here on the as a resistance. So if at all it wants to fall and breaks out of this red rectangular box right here, we may have some bears waiting there previously as well. So we've got bearish mother candle there, some bearish mother candle there and there. So yes, we do have that bit of a push, but I would also think that it might want to reverse early as well, and that could be at 3700 psychological number as well. So I see that yes, there may be some sell potential after it breaks out, but breaks out of that box, but very limited at this moment of time as well. Okay, so the selling would only be taking place, let's say, at the opening price of this mother candle right here. Would probably be more confident there at 3720. So 3720 is exactly at a psychological level, so I don't think it's an ideal area. So 3710 would probably be better, and 3710 to 3700, just not very ideal selling areas. So I think there may be reversals that might actually happen for price to bounce upwards. So it wants to pull the market down a little bit so that people can buy cheaper, but we don't have the catalyst as yet. So maybe we want to evaluate the economic calendar as well, to look at what we are expecting in terms of news or data releases, economic data releases that might give it a push to actually explain to us that there is a potential of a reversal boom to the upside. At this moment of time, not yet, because if we look to the left, the buyers are waiting a little bit higher. We've got more powerful candles a little bit higher as well. Upon breakout of this area, we do have some bullish type mother candles, and that's one here. Maybe not too bad to look at, but that is after it has hit 3780 and above. So I think it's probably best, if you want to look at buying opportunities for GBP USD, it's probably best to wait until the news comes in to push it at 3780 and above. So I think I would be more comfortable in trading GBP USD to buy above 3800 and above. So 3810 and above, if price does reach to that level, and then we've got positive news, and then we've got mother candles going up, then I would be more comfortable in actually buying the GBP USD. At this moment of time, things are very tipsy-topsy, it's not very clear as well for GBP USD. Whether it is on the short term, let's say as short as 30 minutes, you have got that. It may actually be riding a little bit to the downside, yes, but you have got challenge of it trying to reverse a little bit, whether it is at 3750s area, or it could actually reverse at this area. Let's see, 3750s as well. Yeah, so yeah, it's already there, they at very close to 3750s area as well. So you see, things are not really that clear and that nice as well, because we want a very nice smooth trend going downwards with dominant candles as well. But I think the market is waiting for a catalyst. So London hasn't opened yet, so maybe there are some news that are or will be expected to actually provide that push, whether to the downside or to the upside. Okay, so at this moment, a little bit not very clear, mainly because it's trading very close to psychological levels as well at this moment of time, and it's not giving you very clear 3 EMAs, to the downside, to the upside. and it's a mixed bag. You see, we got sideways here, and still have sideways up to the 4-hour chart. Only daily chart, no, daily chart as well. From 1 hour to the daily chart, 3 time frame in a row consecutively, it is just hinting us uncertainty. It's trading in within the 3 EMA lines, which is not a good pair to actually look at trading at this moment of time. Okay, and also if we have looked into the action Forex, there has not been any interest, I think, on GBP USD as well. I'm not sure, but let's take a look. See, there's no GBP pair except for the one with CHF, but because the focus is on the safe haven CHF, hence the reason it is there, but there's just no GBP there, you see. So it's more on CHF, JPY, AUD especially. So these ones are the ones that are giving us more clarity in terms of trend as well, and also opportunities in trading. Not so much GBP at this moment of time. Okay, so maybe on the action at the FX Street right here. Let's see. Let's see what's going on today. Okay, so here we have Wednesday, September 1st. Happy New Month to all. We have, yeah, quite a busy docket of data right here. So this is where, yeah, this is it. We are awaiting the ADP, of course, before the NFP. And we want to take a look at that as well, of how things will actually be. I would think the major pairs would probably be good to trade, but not just yet until we get a little bit more news and further fundamentals to actually help us pave the way to a stronger trend. AUD, as you can see, we have got positivity right here on the GDP, which is good sign, especially because it's a sigh of relief, I would guess, because the country, didn't do well for a good months, a couple of weeks to a couple of months with the corona situation as well. So yeah, okay, that's basically it. Okay, GBP USD, is that clear, Alfred? Yeah, on the GBP USD, it's okay so far. It's not a pair that I would look at this moment of time in terms of trading it, because it's just a little bit too risky. All right, no problem. Okay, anyone else? Any questions on your current trades? Would probably be nice to look at that and share with the others as well, and we can go through it. Okay, good. Also GBP USD, I forgot to mention, I think I've mentioned this before, that on the 4-hour chart, on the daily chart, it looks like a cup and handle, an inverse cup and handle or reverse cup and handle pattern. And it's looking like it has created the handle there. So the inverse cup and handle actually would signal more pull or dive to the downside actually. So that could potentially, I mean, especially after it breaks out of this area right here, maybe at the 3620 psychological level area. Let's say it goes down and it breaks out of this rate, and it goes down a lot more with a lot of pull here. And once it breaks out of 3620 and under, it could potentially fall even more. Maybe let's say another 300 plus pips to go down. So at this stage, what we want is to look at whether or not we have got potential of price for pound to go down and down and down with the news. So we don't know what news will actually come up, but so far it looks like it's recovering. Things are looking not too bad in the UK, but again, you know, from how we are looking at GBP versus the USD, we see that it has already made a very nice handle of the cup as well. So I will show you what I mean. So this is GBP USD on a daily chart. So what I have seen is that there is a inverse cup and handle pattern. So that's upside down pattern like this of a cup, right? And usually it needs to go up and build this handle. And usually this area, it needs to go to this area at about 50%. Okay, 50% Fibonacci, sorry about that. So it did that already. Now it comes down. So it needs to come down more and basically keep coming down and coming down until it breaks this mouth of the cup. And once it breaks the mouth of the cup, it can actually go down about 300 plus pips, because from this area, from the base of the cup to the mouth of the cup, it's about 380 pips. So usually upon breakout from the mouth of the cup, it can actually go down as the length or the number of pips in this area. Okay, so yeah, that's basically what I see happening. Okay, that's clear, you guys? All good? All right. Okay, any questions, guys? You guys okay so far? Good. All right. If no questions, then we will end the session for today. All right. All good, right? Okay. Okay, guys. So with that, I would like to thank you for your time. And any questions at all, you can direct message me, and we will actually meet up again on Friday. And I think we'll inform you guys on the new webinar timings as well. Okay, guys, take care. Thank you very much, and have a great week. Take care. Bye-bye.